AI is not coming. It's already inside your organization, inside in your products, and it's already making decisions that affect your customers, your data, and your risk profile. And the people responsible for keeping it safe are running the same security playbook used in 2015. So I decided to fix that, and in public. This is my AI learning series. Every week, I will go deeper into how this technology works, not the hype, not the vendor pitch, the actual mechanics, explained simply enough that anyone can understand it. I'm a Chief Information Security Officer, and I've been in cybersecurity for over 10 years. But I think learning AI and AI skills is the biggest career investment that anyone can do. And I'm doing it that with you guys. So follow along this series. How we're gonna break it down. What is AI? How do large language models actually work? Why do these things that surprise me the most worry every security and business leader watching this? Stay with me. This one is important. Before we go anywhere, I want to clear something up. When most people say AI, they mean one of three things, and mixing them up is how you end up in board meetings approving tools that you don't really understand. So let me break it down for you very simply. AI, otherwise known as artificial intelligence, this is the big umbrella term. Any computer system designed to do something that normally requires human thinking, playing chess, recognizing a face in a photo, recommending a film. Think of AI as the name of the sport, football. There are many ways to play it. Now, machine learning, one very specific way of doing AI. Instead of writing rules manually, you feed the computer millions of examples and let it figure out the patterns by itself. The analogy, imagine teaching a child to recognize dogs. You do not write a rule book that says four legs, fur, and a tail. You show them 1,000 of dogs. Eventually, they can spot a dog they have never seen before. That is machine learning. Large language models. This is what is ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and most enterprise AI tools are built on that. A specific type of machine learning model trained on enormous amounts of text, learning to predict what word comes next in the sequence. That sounds simple. Implications are not. So when your organization deploys AI tool, what are the most almost certainly deploying is an LLM or a product built on top of one. This is the thing we need to understand. And to understand it, we need to start with something so small people never think about it. Something called a token. Stay with me. Here is the question that nobody in the boardrooms asks. How does AI model actually produce an answer? I'm going to explain this the way I wish someone had explained it to me. No jargon, no math, just an idea. We start with this kind of brain analogy. Imagine this, your brain is made up of millions, even billions of neurons. Tiny little cells fire electrical signals at each other. When you're learning something, there are connections between certain neurons. They get stronger. When you forget something, those connections essentially become a bit weaker. So, an artificial neural network works on the same basic principle, except instead of neurons, we have numbers, and instead of electrical signals, we have math. So, imagine a massive grid of numbers, billions of them, each number connected to thousands of others. Each connection has a strength called a weight. When you type a question into ChatGPT, the question flows through this grid. Each layer of the network transforms it just slightly, and at the end, the model produces an output. The magic is how those weights were set, not by a programmer writing rules, but by training, showing the model hundreds of billions of words, billions of sentences, and letting it adjust its own weights until it got good at predicting what comes next. So, the prediction machine. Here's the key insight from Andrej Karpathy, one of the most respected AI researchers in the world. An LLM at its core is a next word prediction machine. You give it some text, it predicts the most likely next word, then the next, and then the next, and that's pretty much it. That is the whole trick. Except because it was trained on almost all of the human written knowledge, its predictions are extraordinarily good. Good enough actually to write code, explain concepts, and summarize documents. Even, draft legal briefs. Not because it actually understands it, but because it has seen so much human writing. It has learned the shape of human thought. Now, let that sink in. And that distinction, understanding versus pattern matching at scale, matters enormously for how we govern and secure those systems. Which brings me to three things that surprised me the most. And we start with something called a token. Now, I want you to forget everything you think you know about how computers read text. Because they do not read words, they read tokens. Now, token is roughly 3/4 of a word. For example, the word fantastic might be one token, the word unbelievable might be split into 3. Even a space or a punctuation mark can have its own token. Now, think of tokens like Lego bricks. Language gets broken into smallest useful pieces before the model ever sees it. So, for example, think word cybersecurity could split into cyber and then security, or unbelievable split into unbelieve and then able. Now, here is why this matters for anyone with a budget. Every AI API charges by the token. Now, every word you send, every word you get back, counted and billed. Now, set your context window too large. Let responses run uncapped. Deploy it to 10,000 users simultaneously, and suddenly your AI project had a cost problem that nobody budgeted for because nobody understood what a token was. I have seen it happen plenty of times, and I have approved the tool. I have had the CFO conversation afterward. It is not fun. Tokens are the unit of currency inside every large language model. Govern them like you govern your cloud spend before they govern your budget. Now, here's the second concept, the context window. Imagine you are in a meeting with AI assistant, except the assistant has a notepad, and that notepad has a fixed number of pages. Everything in the conversations gets written on those pages. Your questions, the answers, the documents you share, all of it. Everything in a conversation gets written on those pages. Now, when the notepad is full, the assistant has to start crossing out the beginning of the conversation to make room for new information. That notepad, that's what is context window. So every model has a limit. GPT-4 has one, Claude has one, Gemini has one, and even some are, bigger than others. But all of them, they'll all have one. And here's the security implication that nobody talks about. What goes into the context window? If your developers are building internal AI tools, they might be stuffing entire documents, entire conversation histories, entire policy files into every single API call. Every token in that context window is then sent to AI providers' infrastructure. Every time, for every user, and for every query. You know what your developers are putting in the context window? Do your data processing agreements cover it? Has your DPO even reviewed the data flow? If the answer is no, that is not your AI problem. That is a governance gap. And the third concept is temperature. This is one that actually I love because the name makes perfect sense. Think about how you make decisions when you are calm versus when you are, excitable. So when you are calm, you give a predictable, reliable answer, a sensible one. When you are buzzing with energy, you get creative, you take risks, you say unexpected things. Temperature in an LLM works exactly the same way. So low temperature, the models give you safe, predictable, most likely answer. Good for, factual queries, legal document reviews, and security analysis. High temperature, model gets very creative. It takes more risks with its words choices. Good for brainstorming, writing, generating ideas. Now, here's why this matters beyond just the output quality. A higher temperature setting produces longer, more varied outputs, more tokens, and more cost. Now, a developer who sets temperature to a maximum for a customer-facing AI chatbot because it feels more natural has just increased your AI spend and made the output harder to audit and to govern. Temperature is not essentially a creative preference. It is a governance decision. And right now, most organizations are leaving it to whoever wrote the code. Now that is a big gap. I want to bring this back a little to the reason I started this series. We're living through a fastest technology adoption in business history. AI went from research curiosity to enterprise standard in under 3 years. And the people responsible for keeping organizations safe, secure, and compliant are being asked to govern something they were never really trained to understand. That's not a criticism, it's just a structural problem. Our profession has not caught up. But here's what I know from 10 years in security leadership. You cannot defend what you do not understand. You cannot govern what you have not learned. And you cannot lead through a transformation you are watching from the outside. The next generation of attacks will not come through your firewall. They will come through your AI stack, through prompt injection, through poison training data, through vector databases full of your organization's most sensitive information. And if you are the CISO, your security manager, your IT director signing off on those deals and tools without understanding how they work, you are the last line of defense and you are flying blind. And same goes for any other professional. If you want to work in security, you want to work in tech, wherever you work, you're going to touch AI tools. This is why I am myself learning this in public. This is why I'm starting and sharing every week, because the alternative is pretending we already knew or know. And in security, that is exactly how breaches happen. So next week, we go deeper. Week 2 is about embeddings, how AI systems store the meaning of your data. Not just data itself, but why that changes everything how, you review an AI vendor. That one genuinely stopped me when I clicked on it, Do not miss it. If this video was useful for you, here's what I need you to do, guys. Subscribe. Because the series is only just getting started, and each and every episode builds on the last one. So you don't want to become, and get in here halfway. Drop a comment below telling me what is your biggest question about AI right now. I read every single one of them. Some of your questions will become future episodes. And share this with one person in your network who is being asked to govern or approve AI tools without the knowledge to do it so confidently. Because that person is everywhere right now and they need this. I am Marius Boskus. I'm a global VP of cybersecurity and a chief information security officer. Learning in public so you don't have to start from zero alone. I will see you at the next episode.